life can be very brief.
It has been a year since the sweat lodge disaster in Sedona that killed 3 people. And now, as self-help guru James Ray awaits his August trial, the people scarred by the event talk exclusively to ABC 15's Rudabeh Shabazi about how they're healing.
It's really about me healing myself.
3 deaths, dozens of injuries.
And how can we learn from what happened?
In what was supposed to be a spiritual awakening.
I don't think anyone thought to question their leader.
Exclusive access a year later as people who found themselves in the middle of the sweat lodge tragedy recover.
Yes.
It was a pretty traumatic experience to have been here and been a part of that tragedy.
Mark Rock sat in that sweat lodge as one of James Ray's volunteers. Now he's the architect of the Garden of Transformation on the very land where people were dragged out in altered states of consciousness.
I was a little apprehensive about being here to some degree. It took me a while to come to different areas and be in that space again.
The space where nearly 24 people were rushed to the hospital following days of fasting and mental exercises led by spiritual guru James Ray. 3 of his participants, Kirby Brown, James Shore, and Liz Newman, later died from heat stroke and organ failure.
All the small crystals symbolize all those who were connected and loved. This is Kirby's tree.
Amayra Hamilton, who owns Angel Valley, where Ray held his spiritual warrior retreat, says she's trying to turn the traumatic experience into a positive lesson.
Trust yourself, trust your inner knowing, trust your guidance, and find your own guru within.
The stones used to produce the heat that killed now memorialize the people who lost their lives here, a symbol of healing and rebirth for those who survived.
And around the circle, we have recently started with planting of trees.
And I don't think I will ever forget that day.
Shawna Bowen came to the land to meet her hero and ended up nursing the people who fell ill. Now she's written a book about her experience.
I think the self-help industry is definitely under fire right now. I think it's definitely being looked at under a microscope. And I'm glad, because there were growing concerns because there's no regulation and no accountability.
As the aftermath plays out in litigation, Ray's upcoming trial, and a crackdown on zoning ordinances, Mark Rock is coming full circle, back to Angel Valley.
The justice system will do what they're going to do. That's not for me to determine what they do or don't do. What I can do is I can take control of my life, and I can help others.
You have to also work through a process of upsetness, grief, anger, frustration. That's just human. Every person has that. And I think I'm beyond the anger.
In Sedona, Rudabeh Shabazi, ABC 15 News.